Good morning, just a veteran here. So I'm out on my daily walk, and as usual I'm doing a video for my social media, see what we can talk about today. And today I thought I'll talk about my time in the army, particularly in Germany. In total I had 15 great years in Germany, ranging from different postings, which is where you get sent in the military, like Hona, which was not far from Hanover, and near a little town called Bergen, and near a former concentration camp called Belsen, Bergen-Belsen. A great little place, quite in the country, but a nice place nonetheless. But as a military garrison, it was busy. And that was mainly due to Hona ranges, which in short you could fire almost anything on, but it was mainly tank ranges, and they spanned from Hona ranges all the way through to Fallingbostel, all the way up the range road. I arrived in Hona back in early 91. People were still in the Gulf, people were coming back from the Gulf. That transition phase just when the Gulf War had finished. So there's lots of guys with lots of testosterone going around, you know, guys who've been to war. And there was me, a 17-year-old sprog, a nig, new in green, who's brand new almost to the British Army. As if that wasn't bad enough, not only was I new, not only was I brand new, not only was I not a war veteran at that point, but I'd chosen to be a military policeman. It was going to be tough. You see, I'm one of these people who has the utmost respect for anyone I meet. Always have respect until I'm proven wrong. And so being aware of all these men and women who had been to war and were now coming back to camp, and I was brand new from Civvy Street, only done training, 6 months training, and now I was in a unit, and being expected to police the force, I was very aware of my surroundings, very aware of the people around me who had come back from war and how they needed to de-gas and let off steam. And diplomacy was going to have to be key. I mean, don't get me wrong, you've still got to uphold the law, you've still got to maintain military order and good discipline. You can't allow people to run riot, you can't allow people to commit crime. That's very, very important, because if you lose law and order, then what have you got left? But there is a way to do this, there is a way to police the force, and diplomacy and tact is right up there. It's key, and you might be surprised to know not every monkey had it. And those that didn't have it, usually found themselves in an escalated situation very, very quickly. You see, going into a situation all guns blazing, pardon the pun, raised voice and waving your arms in the air is going to achieve absolutely fuck all. There's a thing out there called the force continuum, where you start off low and you escalate in accordance with what you're met with. So you go in there talking. If they start shouting at you, you raise your voice. And force meets force in terms of verbal and physical, should it ever come to that. And I was quite proud of the fact that I would go into situations, and more often than not, I would not find myself involved in a scuffle. However, there was one time in Hona when the Light Dragoons were having the Battle of Balaclava battle honours. Now, they were celebrating the battle honour, which is very, very important, and they all get up to mischief, but they will always put things right the next day. They might hoist the adjutant's bike up the flagpole, they might paint a scout car pink with yellow spots, they might even paint the battle honour on the back of the military police station, which they did. But more often than not, they always rectify it the next day. On one particular Battle of Balaclava and Battle of Waterloo evening, when they were celebrating it, I did get into a bit of a ruckus. I could leave that to another video though. It's where I had to use force, and yeah, interesting. Let's say that, let's just keep it at that. But the point I wanted to make was, turning up in my first unit, I had to learn diplomacy and tact, because I wasn't just new to the unit and having to fit in with the unit. I was having to fit in with a community, and those boys and girls who just come back from war, I couldn't equate with that. I couldn't compute with it. I didn't understand at that time what they'd gone through. I was new, I was 17 still. I learned very, very quickly about diplomacy. I learned very, very quickly about tact. And I've always had respect, but I just realised the importance of it. And balancing that with doing your job as well, being compassionate, but still enforcing and maintaining military order and discipline and law. It was an interesting time, and probably the most impressionable time of my army career. That transition from being a civvy to becoming a soldier, a military man, a military policeman. I suppose that tact and diplomacy has still stuck with me. However, throughout the years in the military and over the years, you become an all-rounded person. I'm not saying we're great, not by a long shot. We all have our cracks to deal with, but I do honestly believe that as veterans that we're more straight to the point and direct. We're more honest, we're more truthful. We're not worried or upset about upsetting people if we're telling the truth. Again, you don't have to be a cunt to tell the truth. You can just tell the truth. So yeah, I don't really know what I'm rambling on about now, but my first unit was very important to me. That was back in 1991. I went on to serve for a further 22 years in the British Army. When I look back, it's just a blip. Where did it go? Crazy. But there you go. Anyway, that's it. Just thought I'd share that with you. Have a great day.